get the Instagram.
That freaking picture of me.
Commence primary ignition.
Hey, this is Obi Tahi. I play Dr. Pershing, and you are watching the Virtual Cantina Network.
Thank you, Omid. And happy Monday, Rebels.
Welcome, welcome.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. As you can see from the lineup, it's boys' night here at Rebels Revisited. Ashley is on assignment. Actually, she's on a date night. She's going to see Phantom Menace, which is very exciting. So we'll get a full recap from her next week. I'm joined tonight by our permanent substitute co-host, Skip. Skip, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. And soon to be permanent co-host on Clone Wars Revisited later this year. And we're joined by a very special guest tonight. If you're looking at an unfamiliar face in the network, you're going to get to know him today. Please welcome to the show this guy right here. This guy, Scotty White. Hi, Scotty.
Hi. I got the boxes. I got to get used to the boxes.
Everything's reversed. It's
Hi,
a
everybody.
small box. And
Both ways, you never fail.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Thank you, my people. Thank you.
So, Scotty, thank you so much for joining us. I know you're a longtime friend of Spencer.
Yep.
We won't hold that against you. Also, huge Star Wars fan. And from my understanding and from our conversation before, a huge Rebels fan. So
Yeah,
we're gonna
Rebels
talk
is my
all
Star
things-
Wars.
Excellent. And you've got some good stories to share that we're going to dive into tonight. We're just waiting for some people to join us in the chat. People might have seen from the Facebook post that we're doing a watch along of everyone's favorite, super fun, awesome, not at all the most depressing episode of the series, Jedi Knight. It's the feel-good moment of the year. So we'll do that a little bit later, and we're going to cover some news in Star Wars and get to know Scotty a little bit. So Scotty, tell everyone in the group a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how you got into Star Wars, sort of the basics.
Well,
Oh,
hi,
please.
I'm Scotty.
There we
I'm
go.
from close to Mobile, Alabama, so I'm deep south near the beach. And so I was born in 1977, so you couldn't escape Star Wars. Like, it's in my DNA. And so that's my relationship with Star Wars. I've been a fan since, I was born in August. It came out in May, so it was already had its claws on me before I even arrived.
That's awesome.
Excellent.
So being an OT fan, how did you find your way to Rebels being your favorite slice of the saga? Because that's a controversial statement. I feel like I'm constantly defending Rebels to everyone in
Rebels
our
is
age
great.
group.
So I was in college when the first episode hit, and I was like, well, I wasn't a big fan of Clone Wars. I didn't watch a lot of Clone Wars, and so but this is more my era. And so I decided to give it a shot. And then so I watched the first episode. And guys, let's be honest, the first episode is basically a Star Wars take on Aladdin. And I was kind of on the fence about that. I wasn't quite sure. And then the second episode, you've got your obligatory. We've got two classic characters we've got to show off. And I'm like, I'm not sure about this at all. And then like the third episode, when you see Zeb and Ezra kind of bond and steal a TIE fighter, I was like, oh, I know what they're doing now. This is amazing. And every episode after that, the show just got better and better and better and better.
Yeah, I think you nailed it, that the show gets better as you go. Like, we're deep in a rewatch right now of season 4, and it is intense. And the way the show evolves over the course of the 4 seasons to really bring every character to life, make the conflicts that much more believable and heavier, and connect to the bigger worlds. It's kind of insane to see where they started and then where they're ending. Even though it all happens on Lothal, seasons 1 and season 4, they feel like worlds apart for sure.
Oh, that's
Um,
100% true.
yeah. So when you're not binging Rebels, tell us a little bit about your extracurriculars around Star Wars, because you actually did something really fun recently at a convention.
So I own a toy store and I do a lot of conventions with a toy store. And I was just recently at Huntsville Pop Expo and they had Vanessa Marshall and Dee Bradley Baker and Steve Bloom and Taylor Gray as guests. I got to host the Rebels panel. And that was amazing. So it was me and hundreds of Rebels fans, and I got to guide questions, and I got to know all of the actors, and it was fantastic. It was a great experience.
Yeah,
Good times.
yeah, it's a super super cool group of people for sure. Um, you said you got to hang out with Vanessa Marshall in
I
particular.
did.
What was she like? She's a friend
She's
of
a
the show.
sweetheart. She's a complete sweetheart. She hugged me like 13 times. It was great. And so I was like, I'm being hugged by Hera. This is amazing. But she's just incredibly, she loves her fans and she's just very
Mhm.
generous with her time. And I got a blast hanging out with her. So she was very cool.
Hugs from Hera. That's going to be the new thing. I'm going to send her
Ooh.
that in a message so she remembers to use that somewhere. Skip, you got a shirt recently from Emily. Can you show
Yes.
everyone the shirt? Because now I'm thinking we need a Hugs from Hera shirt in the same vein. So
Oh,
can everyone read that? Tell everyone what it says, Skip, as well as you're reading it.
It's a May the Fourth be with you. Only instead of saying the Force, it says the Forge, which, as I was saying to the guys earlier, I actually had to take a second to go. Now, why is the Force spelled Forge? And then it took me, and I was like, oh yeah, that's the armorer. She has
Hmm.
a forge. So great play on words. It was real cool. Also enjoyed meeting Emily and talking to her on time. So it was like, oh, she's selling shirts. Got to rally the support for the troops.
Yeah, excellent. That's a great shirt, and it doesn't infringe on any copyrights or anything. So very smart. Um, I like the idea of there's so many different plays on the May the 4th now, and May the 4th has become like its own miniature holiday at this point for all of us Star Wars nerds. So I
I
got to
was
keep an eye on when she's going to
I
be on
was
the
at my
screen again.
I was at my stepson's college graduation, and that everything's going on. And of course, there's a couple jokes about "May the Fourth be with you." And then, as the students, after they got their diplomas and they're exiting, they started playing. They started off with the Empire March and started playing Star Wars theme songs, and everybody's like, "Yeah!" So
That's awesome.
it's Star Wars has always been ingrained in the pop culture of the country, and it just continues on and gets deeper and deeper. So when you go into college graduations and they're playing the Empire March, it's arrived.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, I have two nieces. One is 6, one is 2, and they were playing with lightsabers on Mother's Day. Like, because aside from the fact that my sister and my brother-in-law, and of course I'm like the Star Wars guy, but like they know what it is. Like my niece is watching them and is into it. And my two no, that's Arya, the 6-year-old, but the 2-year-old just goes along with it and has fun, and it's like they're just fighting with swords. So I think it's going to outlive all of us for sure.
Absolutely. And coming up on just another couple short years, and we'll be talking 50 years of Star Wars. It's almost hard to
Yep.
believe it's been that long.
As someone who was a
4 years.
licensee during the 40th, I got to tell you, I can't even. Ugh, I'm actually like dreading the 50th. It's so much work. But the 40th was fun. I was at Topps, the trading card company at the time, and we did a special card set specifically for the 40th. And then there's a whole bunch of other things happening. Do you guys remember the big logo where they like redid the logo in black and silver, and it was sort of the silhouette of Luke and Leia with the big 40 around it? They'll do it in gold with something else like that for the 50th. I'm already imagining it in my head. It'll be on every package, and God, there'll be another re-release of the original figures, the whole like all 6 of them from the 3.75 line in 50th packaging. I'm imagining the line plan now. Now I'm mad. Thanks, Skip.
It's just trying to encourage you to get your work juices going.
Yeah,
If you start now,
no
you'll be
escape.
ready by in that 2 years period of time.
Yeah,
In
look, it's
27.
3 years away. You have to start your line planning now if you want to do something big for the 50th. Which let's do the math real quick. Star Wars Celebration is happening in Japan in April of 2025. they will have to have a celebration in 2027 to celebrate the 50th anniversary. There's no way they're not going to. My suspicion is they're going to sneak in something in 2026. I was talking to Spencer about this, and when he said that, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. And I was like, wait a minute, they're going to want to get in one more American one or one other one of some type before the actual 50th anniversary. So
I was having that same
I'm in the
conversation
camp
with
we're going to get a
Vince.
lot of celebrations.
So do you think the 50th will be stateside?
I think it has to be. And I think it should
Right.
be in California or Orlando, tied to the park along, because the parks are going to do something insane, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Fireworks.
I would
For
like to
sure.
live long enough to see 2027. That's going to be the low bar that we clear and attend whatever the 50th anniversary crap is going to be. That'll be the real plan. All right, in the chat, tell us, will you go to a 50th anniversary thingamajig at whether it's Celebration, California, Orlando? I feel like it needs to be stateside, right? It's got to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, not Chicago, unless that
Well, they got my
Manhattan's
money for
ready.
I mean, they got my money for Japan. I guess I'll go anywhere.
So, Scotty, you're going to Celebration.
I am. I'm going to Celebration.
Okay. Are you going as a vendor or just a fan?
No, just a fan. That's,
Yeah,
I mean,
no, I
yeah.
couldn't imagine. Like, that would be, yeah.
It's expensive to haul things to Japan.
hmm
Hell, it's expensive just hauling me to Japan, let alone, product to sell and so forth.
Yeah, I'm curious as to who will attend, licensee wise. I think it's going to be small, but
You're
I
not
don't have any insider.
not
info.
dragging your. Are you going to end up
Interesting.
working in Japan, Mark?
I don't know. I mean, I gotta be honest. Like, it was expensive enough to go to England. I don't know. And I actually think there are a lot of brands that can't attend because they might not have contract rights for Japan or Asia in general, where there are other license holders in that geography. You
Yeah, I hadn't
probably
thought
can
about
get an
that.
exemption for like a one-off to attend the convention. But at the same time, is it worth you bringing all that stuff when you'll probably just be sent? Here's the thing. I don't think like a lot of Japanese locals are showing up to this event. I think it's going to be the same 50,000, we'll say blended international group, but largely Americans and British people who are going over there, I would think. So I know
European.
it's an international show, but like, I don't think I can't imagine how much money you're going to make if you're a licensee thinking you're going to find a whole new audience at that show. That would be my question.
Yeah, if you're thinking about it just from the financial standpoint as compared to, hey, I was there bragging standpoint, we've been to
Yes.
all of them type of thing. But you're right. It's a challenge. And then if you don't have the rights to Japan, does that mean that somebody else has the rights to Japan, and therefore they're going to be there instead of you? And it almost kind of takes the decision out for you, because then you're like, okay, well, I don't have to carry stuff. I don't have to go.
We talked about this a little bit. Remember when I wasn't going to be going to Celebration Europe, and we were doing all the news desks and getting all the preparation done? We did like a news desk announcing who all the attendees were going to be for Celebration. We went through the list of licensees, and there were a whole bunch of T-shirt and apparel companies that we didn't recognize. Me and Ashley and Spencer and everyone were like, who are these people? They were based in England. So it's the kind of thing where, like, of course there's a T-shirt company based in England that doesn't exist in America that has the license for that category in that space.
Yeah, because
I think you're going to run into that as well in Japan.
They would be expensive T-shirts. I mean, those are the product. I mean, it's one thing when you're selling, high-end cosplay outfits. You've got enough markup in there to be able to send them over to Europe, and people be like, yes, let me have one of those.
Yep.
Whereas a T-shirt, you can buy them anywhere. Why would you have a licensed T-shirt company in the U.S. selling to London? Would you just have one in London?
Exactly. And apparel is very geographically focused, right? Like, trends in fashion and just wearables really do find their way within borders. Whereas high-end helmets, like, it's still the Mandalorian helmet, regardless of what country you're selling it in, right? It's still got to look like the thing you see on screen. Similarly with action figures, for the most part, like, other than packaging requirements, like, it's still the same action figures that are going kind of worldwide. But apparel is highly geography driven. So that wasn't surprising that like my license is very global. We ship worldwide, and then a t-shirt company would be specific to like Spain. Like it would be like just at the country level potentially. I'm sorry guys that we didn't mean to turn this into a TED talk on licensing, which I could do by the way. I feel like that would be my next thing.
I'm
Um,
learning a lot.
yeah. So Scotty, you're adjacent to this space though. So tell everyone about the store that you own, and like you're saying you're on the road a lot. You were telling me about your schedule for conventions and how you have like the upcoming spring and summer schedule. So tell everyone a little bit
Right.
about what you do and what you sell at your store and all that stuff.
So I have a toy store in Mobile, Alabama called Scotty's Toy Shop, and I do vintage and collectible toys. My whole bag is basically I wanted to reunite people with their childhoods. And so I clear, and so that's real fun. But doing that, I get to do a lot of conventions. The conventions are good money for me. So I get to I travel in my region. So I go as far north as Tennessee and as far west as Louisiana, east in Florida. And I do a lot of shows. It's really fun. I get to meet a lot of people, and I get to make a lot of people happy. That's what's real fun. Somebody's not seen a toy in a very long time, or since they were little, and they finally like, I really want to get this again. I get to brighten some days. We call them happy adoptions.
I love that because I'm an adopter. Let me tell you, if I go to a convention and there's like a big bin of like Masters of the Universe figures for like $5, whatever, I'm just like finding my way through. I will look for the thing that I had as a kid and no longer can find, or one that I never had before. I'm exactly your target market for that kind of stuff.
Well, if you're ever looking for something, just feel free to reach out. I'll send it right to you.
And we'll put a link to Scotty's store in the Facebook page, so I'm not the only one asking him about toy sales. And you ship across the country too. You have you have
Yeah,
a
I'll
website,
ship.
right? Yeah.
I'll ship worldwide. Yeah.
All right, perfect. We'll get all that information in there. And as you
David
guys can
O'Neill
see,
is in trouble.
yeah, exactly. Look, this is a buying group. I got to tell you, like we're all spenders and collectors, and you should see the private chats that we have in our various groups with like the hosts and everyone else. And I got to tell you, we're on like a business topic, and then all of a sudden it's like there was a product drop, and then there's like 35 rows of like who bought this, who bought that, when's this thing coming out, what about this thing? It's we are the target market for all the stuff. It's kind of horrifying, actually.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
We,
Spencer, we should mention that too. So Scotty, you are
That's the fun.
sponsoring, and yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm a sponsor for the family vacation. I'm having a buzz for the Bunta Eve celebration parts. I'm having so much fun doing that. And Spencer reached out, and I was like, yeah, I'd like to participate. I love Spencer, and I love this get together that we're having. And I was like, hey, I want to just do my part to help out. And so it's real fun. So can't
Nice.
wait.
And Skip,
I'm really excited. I just bought my
you
plane tickets today.
oh excellent. Yeah, so the trip. In case anyone hasn't heard us talk about the family vacation, how could that be? July 9th through August 2nd, we take over California, starting in the south and making our way north. Tickets are sold out, and we have announcements on talent and all sorts of fun stuff going on. There are 3 events at Scum and Villainy, at Biggs, and then up in Northern California in San Francisco. Now, Skip, you are also one of the sponsors, so tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll get back to the 3 different events as well as announcing some of the new talent.
well, I just like going on vacation with everybody, and I figure I make it easy for everybody because I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people that are going to see my sign and say, "Let's go build a house in Asheville." Not exactly my target market, but just my fam, my boys, my girls. We're going to have a good time. So, let's make it easy on the group and support the group. So that's where I'm coming in from. Plus, I just like to see my name all over the place.
I love that. The ROI sounds right on. But
He wanted free graphics done by Dave. Is really what he wanted. Not free.
Really,
I'm going to
Obviously,
keep those and use them elsewhere.
yeah.
yes. He's like, I'm gonna get Dave to do me something, and he'll have no choice.
Dave and Jeff, for everyone in the chat who might not know, do all of the graphics for like this overlay was built by, was it you, Jeff, or Dave? It was Jeff?
Yeah, I did this one. I usually do these ones, and we'll switch off on some other shows, and
Yeah, Jeff being our producer almost always does the Rebels Revisited ones. So there's like the main graphic to start the show, the overlay, as you guys can see. Yeah, there's the main graphic, like which we had to remove Ashley. I was like, get her out of here while she's not on the show. Remove.
I would like a new picture.
Yes. Mine is supposed to be 20% bigger. We've had this discussion before.
That's the best picture of Skip ever, so that's going
Mine's
to continue.
20%
Everybody loves
smaller.
that picture of me, and that's a picture of me in London on the on this. I was about to call it the subway. What do they call it? The underground. There we go.
Oh, the tube. Yeah.
Yeah, the tube. Yeah, we were headed
tube.
somewhere. It was like a day or two before the celebration was going off, and we were going sightseeing. I think that picture was on the Walking Pirate Tour of London that Jonathan Nauman put on, and that was a blast that day.
I'm so sad I missed that. I missed so much stuff because I was working the show. That's the hard part with these things, which is why I really want to find my way to the family vacation. For everyone who didn't hear me announce this on the show last week or the week before, I'm not attending San Diego Comic-Con this year. My parent company is going, but De Nuevo Novo is not. And so another company within my company is taking my booth, which is not super surprising. Like, we did okay at San Diego Comic-Con last year, but we just came off of May the 4th. We don't need to be at San Diego Comic-Con. We might do something at New York, but either way, I'm not going to be there, which is disappointing because I was then going to tack on the family vacation. So I was like, son of a bitch, I've been there for the past 3 years. And now the one time I really need to be there to have like a follow-up event, I'm not going to get to go. But I'm also now trying to weasel my way in. So yes, Sarah, I heard that you won the free ticket, of course, and I was like, well, I got to get out there to meet Sarah and Mr. Barnes. I want to say Jason, and everyone else on the trip. So I'm trying to figure out a way if I can get myself into San Diego Comic-Con with one of my parent company, other companies, and then tack on. Like, that would be the answer. Or I'm just going to fly out there myself at this point. I'm growing tired of the rigmarole. So, and the FOMO is starting to kick in, guys. Like, it's really.
Maybe I'll call Spencer and say, now with my my sponsorship, do I get a free ticket? I got somebody I need to come along.
He'll be like, hey, we can give you an extra eraser. So there you go. More shirts.
That's T-shirt. Don't get ridiculous about eraser. Those things are expensive.
Yeah, we're gonna start seeing those pop up on eBay. Yeah, be like Skip. Hashtag be like Skip. That's good advice in general.
No FOMO.
Yes, exactly. So let's talk a little bit about continuing about the upcoming vacation. But we have some other announcements as well. We just cleared 66,000 fans, followers in the Facebook group. So we are at order 66, execute quantity of fans 66, which is very, very exciting. It happened so fast. Like, it's the kind of thing where, like, I feel like I remember when we hit 50, and then it's just been flying through. So thank you everyone who's been sharing the page, telling your friends.
We actually squeezed through and went past. We're currently at 67 point something on the site. So this one is the more appropriate image to show.
Oh, wow.
So we've broken the 66. We didn't have 66,000 for very long. It jumped from 65 to 67. So
who's in the 6? Because I see Finn on the right. And is that Barasafi in the 7? Who's in the 6?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Jacob does these graphics, and I did some weird manipulation to this to get it to fit right. So it's got a little a distortion kind of going on. But anyways, the last one was really cool, but we didn't get to keep it up very long. It had the Emperor in the background and a lot of stuff going on with Jedi and younglings, etc., inside the letters. So that was kind of fun. But we're moving right through. Once we get to a certain point, the momentum picks up. And
the sooner the closer we get to celebration, that more that number always tends to jump.
Yeah. I remember just seeing the chats because, again, I was working all day at Celebration, but it was like, hey, you have to prep the next graphic. Oh my God, we're already at the next one. Like, it wasn't even a day before like 1,000 was going. So I remember Dave and Jeff just reacting to that like in the hours of the day, like trying to sort that out. It was crazy. So we'll have those ready in advance, I think, for the next big event. And now that like announcements are coming out, like I think I just saw today that Hasbro is confirmed to attend Celebration 2025. So
surprise.
Yeah, I mean, that would be surprising if they weren't there, I would say. You know, like Hasbro doesn't miss a convention, or at least a celebration.
It's like
Um,
Funko missing it.
yeah, well, and they've both had some challenging financial years, right? Like, I mean, Funko, how many millions of dollars worth of stuff did they burn in the landfill? I don't remember. It wasn't necessarily Star Wars, but it was at the company level. And Hasbro had all those layoffs and everything. It's been a tough go for a lot of manufacturers and a lot of the studios. Like the studios they all missed their numbers. Disney had a terrible year in 2023 into 2024, and I think it's going to get better. And I think as the Wolverine and Deadpool movie comes out this summer, it'll really be a big win for the studio, and I think they need that to build the momentum back.
And what's coming out this November? November.
Beetlejuice is in September. I can't remember what's on the
Is
calendar.
there something coming out there? Isn't there no, Captain America's next year, right?
Yes, that's 2025 now.
The only Marvel adjacent movie is going to be the Wolverine Deadpool movie out then that's in July.
Yeah. The rest of it is still TV, right, Scotty? I think there's Agatha, which they have not confirmed a timing.
Agatha. You get the Agatha Acolyte Skeleton Crew maybe at the end of the year, and then that's kind of about it on Disney Marvel Star Wars. And then so
they need to. I mean, I hate to say it, I love Disney.
Oh, Andor. I don't know if Andor's. I think Andor's January though.
25.
It's coming. Yeah, I think it's January's coming.
At some point, they're going to need to pull back on all streaming content and push into theaters again. And that's the shift that we're going through right now. It's a little bit of growing pains, right? Because now people are used to seeing things for free on streaming, and you have to make it a point to go to the theaters. I do think Wolverine and Deadpool will get people back to theaters in a big. My money's on it being the #1 movie of the year, hands down. Like, I think it'll do almost $1 billion domestic, unless they like fully fuck this up. Like, there's no way it's not going to be the biggest movie that we've seen in a long time.
Yeah. It's going to take a little bit of the movie theaters, reimagining themselves and trying to find ways that it's cool to come to the movie theater again.
Yeah.
I mean, popcorn and Coke will only get you so far, the
popcorn bucket. Yeah. And I will say, so
guys,
I read an interesting.
We get talking about that damn bucket from Dune again.
I ran across so family show, but I ran across a couple of accidental videos I did not expect to see on my Twitter that were retweeted by some I was like, what now? It was very surprising. But yeah,
it's just a sandworm. What you do with it is your business, not mine.
Yeah, that sandworm can't consent is my concern. But what's interesting? What's interesting about like the merch, right? Like the popcorn bucket and whatever else, like Beyonce and Taylor Swift sort of saved movie theaters this summer. The same way they sort of saved like the entire American economy. It's actually kind of horrifying. How much of the GDP is responsible, like these two ladies. But the theaters that were showing the Beyonce movie, and then the theaters that were showing the Taylor Swift movie had not just popcorn buckets, but like real merch. Like merch that remember when Star Wars The Force Awakens came out and there were t-shirts and posters and all sorts of shit that like people are like, this is crazy. And then they never did that again.
They had a whole stand in the theaters that I went to.
So what's real interesting about the Taylor Swift effect is that the Department of Labor has a statistic for 2023 and 2024 for her tour because it changed so much of an economy. But they rarely do something special like that. But they're tracking it because of how much money and jobs it brought into each city. It's changed the economy. It's crazy.
And she single-handedly like brought back the demand. Well, not the demand, but the need to manufacture vinyl. Because at one point other people couldn't make records because she was eating up all the demand. There wasn't enough manufacturing capability. So they've had to open more vinyl pressing manufacturers, which is crazy. Crazy.
Fun fact, yesterday was Mother's Day, and I gave my mother the vinyl of the new album, the Poets.
The Torture Poets Department.
Thank you, Torture Poets Department. Which is good. I've listened to it.
every minute of the, because the tour is back and it's in Paris right now,
Paris,
and she
yeah.
added a Tortured Poets Department section in the tour.
Mm.
Removed a couple other songs and created 25 minutes of time for that album, and so there's like 5 songs or 6 songs or whatever. And I watched it over and over again. I was like, oh man, like this woman is incredible.
Oh yeah,
And that
very
that
talented.
show's like 3.5 hours long, and it's like constantly evolving, new costumes and everything. Travis was there, of course. Fist bumping along. He dances so badly. Oh, I can't. He's
Well,
so hot, and then he moves, and
he,
I'm like, not outside of the football field. It's not attractive.
he's a tight end. He
Yeah,
he just catches the ball. That's all he needs to do.
exactly. But it's great to see like a supportive, like famous man. Because usually it's
Yeah,
not
it's
that
the other way
way,
around.
right?
It's usually a
Yeah.
Right.
supportive famous woman. It's nice to see and it's a merger of
Mhm.
the as oh my gosh, if my wife hears me say this, it's a merger of the feminine energy and the masculine energy coming at one point.
Mm-hmm.
I can't
Do I need
believe
to
I
get a
said
crystal?
Complement each
I
other
don't.
so well.
It's very new agey here. Can I get a
Mhm.
crystal and
that.
Yeah,
oh,
I like them.
oh.
I find them both very endearing, and I think they're,
So
Oh, I love it.
so
you know,
which of us is doing Taylor Swift at karaoke?
oh boy. Look, if I make it out to California, I will do a Taylor Swift with someone.
Spencer's ratting me out right now.
Yeah.
Bridget's getting a text message. Do you know what Unfortunately,
Yeah.
he's got her number. But yeah, it's I just it's I like the Kelsey brothers. I watch a little of their podcast, the things from them, and they're hilarious.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, I mean, them talking about well, what do they use soap on when they're taking a shower? I mean, it's just hysterical kind of conversations. It's like, how do we get here? But this is funny.
Mhm.
This is entertaining.
So, but I remember the first time I guess when they were in the Super Bowl together, that's when the
Mhm.
mom became sort of somewhat famous. And I don't follow the football or any sports. I'm like not in that ecosystem, but it found its way to me. And I was like, oh, who are these two like really interesting, endearing brothers who are both in the Super Bowl together? It's kind of a national story. And the mom is like super charismatic. All three of them are like TV ready. I was like, you could just throw a camera on them and they're ready to go. And their podcast, I guess, came up as like a recommended Instagram reel or something, right? And 90 seconds was all it took. And I was like, I love these men. I don't know who they are. This was before he was dating Taylor. And then when I realized that it was the same guy, because I guess a couple years had gone by where from the Super Bowl to now when he started
To
dating
him
Taylor,
starting to
I was
date
like,
her.
oh, that's that guy. That's that guy with the mom. That's how I said it. That's that guy with the mom.
Yeah,
Like,
and it makes sense because
yeah,
they are entertaining and funny and endearing all on their own.
yeah. Yeah, they seem like good people. So I'm rooting for them. And I would like Taylor Swift to enjoy herself so she can make a full-on dance record a la Kylie Minogue. That is my wish that I'm putting out into the universe. I want her happy and badly
Yeah,
dancing because we know she can't
that,
dance. We see her on
that,
stage. She's another
that
one
would
got
be
no rhythm, but you
that
know,
would be awesome. I
yeah,
would thoroughly enjoy that.
The
I'm into
universe
it.
is listening.
Yeah.
MBO has
Yes.
spoken.
Here my I want to see. Well, it is Kylie Minogue can't dance either, but no the gays forgive it because she just does her little sex kitten poses and she brings in like hot guys behind her. It's all very distracting. But like Taylor Swift's tour, she does a lot of walking. She's got a gigantic stage, and that's how she tricks you into thinking she knows how to move. She does not, but that's okay. She doesn't need to dance. She's not a dancer. But like, it's just funny because I'm like, I know you can't dance. I could tell because I see the tricks. Yeah, Madonna can dance. Jennifer Lopez can dance. Beyonce can dance. Taylor Swift cannot dance. Neither can
Did you
Travis
see?
Kelce.
Did you see the video from last year when Blue Ivy was dancing with Beyonce and Beyonce had to like stop her like, no, honey, we don't do this for free.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, no, baby, no, we're not.
Mhm. Well, Beyonce could
Full
see.
on, mama. It was great.
What's that line from American Horror Story when one supreme rises, the other, yeah, that's what that moment was like for Beyonce. She was seeing her future 20 years from now. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, because Blue Ivy will become more famous than anyone, I think.
Well,
She'll
she's
be,
got that movie now. She's in Mufasa. They're
yeah,
pushing her out through
oh yeah.
that. So
Look, Will Smith's kids did the same thing, right? And they also burned bright
Right.
as kids, and then they became like well-adjusted adults somehow. Somehow. And by the way, I know we're all wildly off topic, guys, and we're going to start watching the episode in a minute.
real quick,
But yeah, it is amazing to the celebrity culture in this country is kind of insane. Just how like
I'm
nuts it is. The
I'm
fact
a
that we know the names
crazy
of all these
huge Willow
kids.
Smith fan. Willow is like the true talent in that family.
Really? Yeah,
Yeah, I'm a huge
she's
fan.
nuts. Yeah.
She put out a pop punk album a couple years back, and it's amazing.
Oh,
I
I'll
highly
have to check
recommend it.
that out. Well,
Yeah, it's
having Apple Music, when someone tells me to go listen to something, I could like do it in a minute, right? That or Spotify. I almost said Shopify. Spotify. Like now, music is just so accessible. I'm like, someone recommends something to me. I was like, yeah, you don't have to go buy the CD anymore. I've got
same way.
access to the whole library over here. It's crazy. Um, all right, so Sherry, or I'm sorry, Sarah, I'm gonna figure out a way to get myself a ticket. I think I'm gonna find my way out to this trip. So, and Sherry, you are 100% correct that it would not be a Rebels Revisited if we stayed on topic whatsoever. And that's why next week I'm going to need you and Sarah to really keep us on topic for the 100th episode. I've actually specced out some notes. I'm going to send it to you guys. We're gonna make it work because I'm not going to be here next week, unfortunately. But we are going to still celebrate the 100th with Ashley and Skip at the helm. And I think Skip will do a good job of keeping things on track. I'm the one who grabs the wheel and veers us into the ditch. So
I go along for the ride. I'm right
yeah.
there.
Yeah, everyone enjoys the flip. So with that in mind, we should actually flip into the episode. So everyone get ready to queue up your Disney Plus. We are in season 4, episode 10, Jedi Knight. I can't imagine there's anyone in here who has not seen this episode. If you have not, you have chosen the wrong group to watch it with, because this is a heartbreaking, devastating, terrible, the best episode ever, but it is terrible. So
Yes.
be prepared. I'm actually glad that Ashley's not here because I think she would cry on camera. And that would be a thing. But we are going to get through this together, and we will talk about the episode. So get your Disney Plus, and Jeff, hit that countdown.
You can always tell I'm watching because my head starts tilting back as I look at
Yeah,
the
I'm like,
It's like,
No.
okay, there it is.
Don't skip any intros, Scotty. We like to watch any kind of other info they show us.
who skips intros in Star Wars? That's
Yeah,
a
no.
sin.
Yeah, well, we have to constantly tell people not
Leads to
to.
the dark side, guys. No, don't do that.
And
So I
I
skip an
don't know if
X-Men
you're-
97's intro.
I was going to say, are you watching X-Men 97? I think it's the best
Okay.
thing on TV right now.
It's my favorite
I
thing. And I
didn't
heard like
watch
the
it when it
next.
came out.
What was that? Skip?
I said I didn't watch it when it came out. I'm gonna have originally, so I'm gonna have to binge it.
Oh,
No, you don't. Just skip in. Just jump in. Seriously, just
Jump in. Jump
Just
in
jump
the
in.
deep end.
And if you like it, go back and rewatch the other ones. But jump in. Seriously. I mean, if you know what a Wolverine is and a Cyclops is, you'll be fine.
If you've
Oh,
seen
I know
any of
those-
the live action movies, that's all the baseline knowledge you need
Oh,
to know.
I was a huge X-Men fan when I was in high school, so I know the
Then you're-
characters.
Yeah.
But
Then
it's
you
just
know.
good then.
I didn't watch it when it was originally out.
So
Totally
the best thing.
understandable.
The best thing about it is that it's the Reader's Digest of version of some of your favorite stories. So if you've read, it's fun to watch. So
Yeah, they're covering some heavy stuff, and I will say my only complaint, because I think the show is like a 95 out of 100. The only complaint I have is I wish each of the stories, like you said, we Reader's Digest version, were a little longer. Like I think Life Death could have been like a 4-part
hold on,
thing,
they're
not
torturing
a.
Hera. Why
Yeah.
are we torturing? Sorry, I'm going to back on topic real quick.
No, it's
I don't like
Somebody
this
just
is what
said
it's
it.
like.
I don't want to see Tor. Oh, I love Governor Price. I don't know how you've talked about this much, but Governor Price is amazing.
Yeah, she's one of my favorites. She's one of Ashley's favorites too. We actually covered her on this episode of Daughters of the Galaxy, and we talk about her on this channel all the time too.
Did you read?
I-
Is it the novel, the Dawn of Rebellion, whatever the novel is that introduces Kanan and
The
Hera?
backstory, the origin story for Governor Price in Timothy Zahn's book is, it just fills in all the cracks
Oh, yeah,
on the
that's
show.
right. It's the Thrawn book. Yeah, that did it. That's right. Oh, poor Hera.
Yeah, so this is, as a reminder, she's been captured. We're seeing it, and Kanan is going to mount the rescue attempt. This is on Lothal. In season 4, things are not going very well for the rebels. The Imperials
has
have
her
really locked
California.
down the planet. They sent in a crew, the team, and they were all in disguise. but they still managed to get caught. It's looking really bleak, which is how you set up a final season. Like it needs to feel kind of hopeless. And this, I would say, we're at the nadir point for hope at this point in the season. Oh yeah, Sarah confirmed the name of the book, The New Dawn.
New
This
Dawn, yeah,
was
New Dawn. Thank you, Sarah.
this episode is really the linchpin to it couldn't get any worse to nothing can go wrong.
Mm-hmm. It's a real.
And Sarah,
turning point, too.
she is
I don't
Governor
very
Price
much
is the character that you love to hate.
Yep.
She does such a good job of being bad.
And
Yeah.
she's a believable character. You know how like some villains feel very cartoony, especially when they've got magic powers or they're like just evil. This person is just very ambitious, and wants to succeed, and she's hateful. She's heinous. But like it comes from a very human place, and she's also like a bad decision maker, as we'll see toward the end of the episode. And leaves some collateral damage in the wake. So I think that all feels very plausible, which makes it that much scarier. Like Governor Price feels really real to me, whereas like the Emperor feels very silly a lot of the times, right? With his like cloak and his like, his like his little fingers, like little Tyrannosaurus arms. Like there's something about that just feels not as believable as someone like a Governor Price that you could really run into at work.
So Sarah, I'm kind of I was that thought that you just brought out was one that I had been thinking about as we started this episode. Is did it happen before this episode, or was it just skipped the conception of Jason through this episode? Like somewhere along the line, it happened.
They don't have any alone time, so unless he can
Yeah.
look at her and get her pregnant, it happened before.
It was
Those
I
midichlorians
personally
just drifted through the air.
the conception, the immaculate conception. There we go. Using the
I
force.
personally believe it happens right before the kiss, because I think the kiss is the first public kiss, not the first kiss that they had.
Yeah.
So it
Oh,
kind
for
of
sure.
so I think that's he knew she was leaving, and so you get one good fun time before she leaves off to battle, and then you do the public kiss, say yeah we're really a couple, and then Jason shows up afterwards.
Yeah, it felt like a coming out kind of moment for the two of them. Yeah, because we all knew
So
they were together. Everyone knows they're together.
So did either of you watch this when it aired on Disney XD?
Oh yes.
Yeah, so I watched it when it aired, and it aired with the next episode after it, and like Kanan shaving, and this is all so good.
Yeah, and based on the episode titles and how they give you like a sentence description, I knew it was coming, and we were all in denial about it. So it's funny, like the series started, and I'm like, oh, they're introducing these Jedis. Clearly, they're all going to die, and we're never going to see these characters again by the end of it. And now that we're in it, we're like, there's no way they're actually going to kill them. We've spent all this time together.
Right.
There's no,
Right.
we'll just put them off world or something.
I was still in denial until he shows up without the beard and hair, and I'm like, okay, clearly this is a sign. And
yeah,
he's very chill, like. Well, he's very chill. Like he knows what's happening. He knows he's not going to come out of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, him like seeing the path ahead very clearly, what needs to be done. Yeah, it all feels very like on mission. Very Jedi, right? And the fact that he's calm and collected with all of this.
I remember when all of this came out, and animation was something that I came to late in the process, and so I didn't see this one until much more recently, and. When the last episode, I watched the episode before this, and he was saying goodbye to her when she went off. I was like, oh yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
And then more importantly, when he runs into the Lothwolf on the road, I was like, that's done. That's such huge foreshadowing, and it would be a waste of that kind of foreshadowing if he didn't die at the end of this. Oh, spoiler alert.
Yeah, exactly. I can't
The
imagine.
first time you're watching it, you're watching with the wrong group.
Yeah,
I think this is also the first episode that drops Krennic's name and Project Stardust in Rebels continuity. So you find out that like Thrawn and Krennic are both working on projects competing for the Death Star versus the Defender project.
And there's Tarkin pulling the strings, which we saw a little bit in the Bad Batch a couple weeks ago. He swept that right up and was like, I'm going to take all this funding and send it to Project Stardust. And I'm like, yep, because he knows he's going to eventually overtake that. I bet you he thought, like, hey, I could take down Krennic. I don't know if I could take down Thrawn. We're going to have to figure this out.
I thoroughly enjoy Rogue One, and I call it Krennic's bad day because it's just Krennic gets the worst of it. It just doesn't work out for Krennic. And I know he's the bad guy, but I kind of want to root for him. He's just, I'm
At
just
some
doing my
point,
job,
he's so
man.
beat down. Yeah. Well, that's how they trick you in Andor. If you rewatch Andor season 1, and you're Deirdre Miro, I love her. I'm obsessed with her. She's one of my favorite characters. The whole time you're like, everyone is so mean to her, and they're misogynists and they're jerks. And then as soon as she like overcomes that hurdle, she's worse than all of them. And I was like, oh, they trick you, and you know it. You know going in she's the villain, but like, I'm trying to like feel something for her, and then it turns out she's not even just as bad. She's like somehow even worse, and I loved it. I was like, what a great that's exactly how they needed to handle that, to remind us like where we are in this situation.
I love these gliders. They're so the design's interesting and it's so clever. How do you sneak in? We'll just make it look like we're giant bats and no one will notice, and no one doesn't.
Very smart.
You know-
Using the natural environment, which is connected to the planet as opposed to the technology of the Empire. It's very smart.
It's very Jedi.
I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but the whole, making Hera stoned played so well to the banter between Kanan and Hera.
I love this scene. It's one of my favorites. When she's all drugged up. And
Yeah, I mean,
so
everything
goofy.
he does is foreshadowing. May the force be with you. He never says that in any of the shows. I mean, as they
Sounds
head
like he's
off,
not coming back.
he's like, "I'm not coming back. Here we go."
And it's sad because like Sabine and Ezra have no idea.
Yeah, I feel like Ezra should have a clue, but there's so much happening. They put their lives in danger every damn day. That's the thing.
Well, I think that's part of it too. But Ezra's now slowly taking the mantle of leadership, and so he's so focused on step 1, I've got this to do. Step 2, I've got this to do, and whatever. So he doesn't see the world around him.
Hicks is looking for attention. Come on up. Come on. I can't pick you up. You have to jump up. Oh, listen.
Yeah, little narcotics for Hera.
Torture droids. My one big beef with Rogue One is that they used that alien monster thing to make Brody talk instead of using a captured torture droid. It would have been. It's like, why invent a monster when you've got a cool thing you can use?
Oh, the Borgullet. Yeah.
Yeah, Borgullet.
Yeah. Hi, baby boy. What are you doing over here? Come on, jump up.
Where are the rebels?
Here we go. So here's a cat.
Hi, Hicks.
Hello. Hey, hello. Boop, boop.
There we go.
Yeah, Ashley's cat Ahsoka joins just about every week. She just likes hanging out. Hi, Sarah. Hicks says hi. Ripley's never in here. Ripley's always on her own. She's very independent. Hicks is a needy bitch.
So, Mark, did you sign up for the Aliens documentary? Did you pre-order that?
Did we get that? I can't remember now. My husband buys everything, so my assumption is yes. And we love aliens, as you can tell from the names of our cats.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. So we, I think we have the latest 4K. We actually went on a 4K extravaganza recently because a whole bunch of crap came out on 4K. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. There's the 4K. I have it.
Yeah. True Lies came out on 4K, which wasn't as bad as everyone said it was. Apparently that transfer wasn't terrific. I didn't really. I was like, it looks fine. And then
I'm
down on 4K.
I'm not a snob about that stuff.
No. Oh, my husband is. So let me tell you, he had complaints about everything. And I'm like, is it the movie? Did they cut scenes? Are we missing things? Is the sound mixing wrong? If not, like, shut up and watch the movie. My big complaint, and I know this makes me like old man screaming at a cloud, why is everything so goddamn dark? when did we decide that you're not supposed to see the movie? So I have like the brightness turned up. I go into my TV settings, and I don't turn on motion smoothing. I'm not one of them, but I will find the like at home viewing where it's like pump the brightness because I want to see what's happening on my screen. And Jason's like, it's a night scene. I was like, it's pitch black. There's nothing on the TV right now. It's the credits. Like, that's how black it is. Like, I want to see the people. So I'm like a pain about that. Like, that's the only thing.
Turning off every light in my house so that I can kind of find the soft light spots that are in. Yeah, it's funny that you laughed. When did I become the old man? Because that's exactly what I've become.
Real quick to bring back to the show. I like when Kanan gives her a calorie back and she's like, well, that's mine. That's not a gift at all.
Yeah. Hold on. This is mine. You can't gift me my own stuff.
That's right.
I got one of those from Disney.
The calorie? Nice.
Yeah, I got one. Yeah.
I think
it's in my
Ashley
studio.
has one too.
It's in my studio, and I would have been at my studio today, but we've had bad thunderstorms. That's my internet's been a little funky, and that's because we got thunderstorms. It's knocked out the internet in my office, so they're repairing it on Wednesday.
There's not enough Rebels merch. That's the one thing.
I think I own it all.
Yeah, it's easy enough that there's not a ton to get.
I was looking at the Rebels Crew T-shirt tonight on Heroes and Villains, and I was still going.
Oh, that's cute. Wait, Skip, what's the Heroes and Villains Rebels Crew?
Yeah, they've got a T-shirt called the Rebels Crew, and I think they're having a sale right now.
Oh, I'll have to look at it. Villains.
Yeah, Rebels. I bought this for Huntsville's.
Yeah, my favorite shirt is the. Oh, I know this one. Yes, Ashley has this one. I've got my mural shirt from Celebration that I actually didn't get to buy myself because it sold out. And then someone told me they had an extra medium, and I PayPal'd them the money. It was like a friend of a friend, and I got my shirt. But it sold out legitimately, and I was working the show. I was feet from the real life mural that they had at the show, and the fucking shirt sold out because I was going to get one for Ashley too, and then didn't get one for me, didn't get one for Ashley. So very disappointed, but then I was able to finagle my way into one. Or you can go on eBay and pay $70.
So I got to do the Rebel. I got to watch the first and second episode of season 4 at Celebration, and then I got to do the press junket after they announced that it was going to be the last season, which was sad. And that whole show, I was chasing the hairpin. And couldn't get the hairpin on. My best friend Stephanie, who's coming to the family vacation with us, she got me one for my birthday, so I now have the hairpin.
Oh, that's awesome! I never got into. I should have done the pins. And our friend Jamie, who's on Daughters of the Galaxy, she'll be on later this week. She has an extensive pin collection, including some custom Rebels pins that are done by like small makers. So I'm on the. I do want to eventually get like one of each of the core characters. I don't need like a big collection, but something, because there's just not enough Rebels merch out there.
Well, Hera's my favorite, so I anything Hera I go ahead and grab, and so it's like I definitely need a Hera pin.
Okay, gotcha. So question: Did we ever see Kanan's lightsaber after it was lost in the scene?
Yes. Governor Price has it.
Okay, that's right.
Don't we get it back at the? Does Hera get it back at the end? I'm trying to remember like where it goes in the finale.
I don't know, but I know Governor Price has it because she shows it to Thrawn when Thrawn's very disappointed with what happens.
Well, that's all you have. Did you not think I wouldn't notice that you blew up all my fuel?
Yeah,
and having a parade. Oof. We don't usually celebrate failure.
Man, I would not want to report into Thrawn. He seems like a really scary manager. Because if you do things perfectly, it's like satisfactory, and if anything's messed up, it's DEFCON 5 over here. But that's how the Empire is. Meanwhile, I love the way she looks in her special helmet, like the General Veers helmet, as I call it. When you're driving the AT-AT, like the field helmet is very, very cool.
It's also very Price. I mean, like this is what she would do.
Mm-hmm. She gets her hands dirty. Look, she has a lot of failings. At the same time, she is relentless. Like, I think there are a lot of other paper pushing people in her positions who would have just sent out people to get it. She's like, I'll do it myself. She's like, we'll do it live. Like, she's one of those. Like, she'll go running into the fire and get it done.
She's definitely a micromanager. I like her a lot better than a lot of the other like I think she's better fleshed out like than like Rampart or Hemlock. Like
Yeah.
I get motivation behind Governor Price.
Yeah, and
Instead of
layers.
just like layers. Like
Yeah.
Hemlock is like, okay, I'm doing evil science stuff and Bad Batch, and Rampart's just like the typical, I'm just trying to get ahead, and there's no
I'm an
like,
administrator. Yeah, he's
yeah, I'm
an
an administrator.
administrator.
And Price makes it all the way to the end. She's in the finale. She makes it. She's one of the last to die on screen in the series. She might be the last to die on screen in the series.
Yeah, I think she is.
Yeah, because she goes up with the when we find out that these things are like miniature ships that land, which that's a really
Right.
cool. Like, thanks, Filoni. Like, that's actually like really awesome that the Empire can just like parachute in like a fully functioning like station, and they've got like a mobile base, like, and just
it's
land
like,
and take over.
we're here for your planet.
Yeah.
Clunk.
Yeah.
It's-
Oh, it's so, and this is how colonialism would evolve, right? Like,
oh, absolutely.
this is it's the perfect dystopian future. I just love everything about it. It's so smart. I'm a big Filoni fan, as I know everyone in the chat is aware. And he's given us Rebels and Ahsoka and Clone Wars and all this other great stuff. I'm curious to see what he does next. I don't know how much he has to do with Skeleton Crew. But I feel like if he's at the helm, he could really make that something special.
I think he's making a movie right now.
Oh, that's right. We do have the movie shooting in July, don't we?
Yes.
Right during the family vacation, shooting blocks away.
Yeah, we might lose some of our. Everybody has kind of informed Spencer that, look, I'll be there unless I get called to to work. If I'm on,
I also think
if I'm on the call sheet, you're out of luck.
I also think there's some potential for people who might be on the call sheet to swing on over. Don't you think? Like,
I'm hoping
that
so.
pendulum goes in both directions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, meanwhile, this is here we go. Oh, this is.
I'm gonna try not to cry. I'm trying not to cry, but I'm already feeling it. Look at the
Yeah.
kiss. Oh, I love this couple so much.
Yeah, they really are the goals. And we've got Ezra here. I mean, ugh.
It's like Sabine, I'm here to save you. It's all good.
No more priesthood in the Jedi Knights.
The thing's moving. So just get on the ship. Don't dawdle. Get on the ship.
Yep.
I'll give you a direct old time.
Yeah, it's all over at this point.
The animation is so gorgeous, though.
Maybe if we turn it off right now.
Exactly.
then he
Things
doesn't
are
die.
fine. Things are fine.
I'm like,
And then when
did you have to
Ezra
run
goes back to this moment in the world between worlds.
between worlds? Nope.
You have my
Yeah, the
child.
way his eyes come back. That shot of him doing this in front of the fire.
I'm just already
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, there he is. He sees. And she knows.
It's the only way I can live is if I save you.
I must have watched this episode a dozen times. Oh, and the fade out with the logo that's all ash and white and black and white. Oh, it's just. Oh.
Even my wife was kind of taken with this episode.
Yeah, if you don't feel something from this, talk to your therapist. Something's broken in you. I've seen it enough times now where I'm like, yeah, I mean, hi, Kitty. I know you're being very sweet.
It's just
Yeah. What a fun episode, you guys.
So I know it's next episode, and I don't want to skip to next episode, but I do want to, since I'm here, because I'm not going to be in the next episode, I really want to talk about how no show ever does this. They give you an episode to mourn what just happened.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and you get to see grief from not, Hera has a different kind of grief because it's the father of her child, the love of her life. Ezra
Mhm.
loses a father figure and a mentor. Sabine and Zeb can't figure out their anger about what happened, what's going on. And so you get to see grief in such a way. And it's amazing. My only criticism was at the time when they aired it, they aired 2 episodes back to back, and I really wished that we'd had a week to process this
Yeah.
before they gave us Doom. But that's I want to say that because I won't be here next week, and this is such a good episode. Just like
Well, good news. As a friend of the channel, we could always bring you back on at some point. So it's not a one-time invitation, which is nice. But yeah, I'm with you that one, I actually think Star Wars has made this same mistake a couple times where they do this double episode thing a lot. And I'm like, I really just needed you to give me one episode and a week to process. It's one thing to do like a multi-episode premiere or finale where you have sort of an all-encompassing story, but standard weeks, give me one episode and give me time to think about it. Like X-Men did that
right,
perfectly. And X-Men
right.
97 is crushing it in that space. And actually, the way they broke up the 3-part finale, which, by the way, the finale of X-Men is this Wednesday, everyone. So if you haven't caught up yet, one, what are you doing? Stop. Leave now. Leave now and go watch X-Men. Like it's the must do of the week.
I mean, don't
But
leave
yeah,
now.
yeah. Give it like
In a
3
little bit.
minutes. Yeah. But I agree that like the time we had to mourn and feel like Sarah said, the aftermath, and the consequences, and I like the way that everyone grieved differently. Like, because
And
I feel like I would have been angry. I would have been with Sabine.
I like it because of the coda at the end of the series, everything changes. You watch Hera in her grief, and you're thinking, she didn't tell him. Well, she didn't tell him he loved her. She loved him, and it's like, no, she didn't tell him she was pregnant. And
Exactly. Yeah.
when you see Jason and understand what this episode really means, is just phenomenal. The writing is so strong. That's why this is my favorite Star Wars. The writing
Yeah.
and the characters in this are just look. I love Luke, Leia. I love Han. I love Chewie. Those are great. But this is a family that I just
Mhm.
absolutely just love, and just I can watch this forever. I never get bored of it.
We also get the benefit of having 80 episodes. So we're talking about 40 hours of content. There are about 7 hours of content with Han, Luke, and Leia in the original trilogy. And in Clone Wars, even though there are more episodes, it's spread across way more characters. Like it's not just Anakin, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan. You're also getting Yoda thrown in there. Like
Right.
the core of Rebels, those 80 episodes are basically around the same 5 characters. Clone Wars is 120 something episodes spread across, we'll say, a dozen characters. And there could be entire arcs where like Ahsoka's not in there, Obi-Wan's not in there, Yoda's not in there, Anakin's not in there. I was like, how's Anakin not in this episode? That happens all the time in Clone Wars. So it's a very different experience as a show. This one really gives you long periods of time where you can really get to know these characters, see them evolve. And that's really what we want. We want a story of like, we want a starting point, we want an end point. How did they get there? What did we learn? How does it connect to the larger world? And I think Rebels has set the template for that, at least for Star Wars TV. And I think Andor's in that same territory too. Like I'm so ready for Andor season 2 next year. It's probably the thing I'm most excited about on the calendar. What about you, Skip? What are you ready for?
Acolyte.
Acolyte. Oh, it's coming up. We're
Very
only
excited
weeks
about
away.
Acolyte. I was like, okay, I wanted to. I didn't like the story. I mean, the details and there were some moments that were very entertaining, but I didn't like the story. And I wanted to see, it was like it had that. I mean, it was good. It was good TV. Don't get me wrong. I just didn't like that storyline. I liked the characters. I liked the way they were written. I liked how it was filmed. I liked all of that. I just didn't like that storyline, and that's it. And it's just me. But it was great stuff too. I mean, I'm gonna watch season 2 every time it comes out. I'm gonna be dead on it watching it.
You're thinking Andor, I think.
Andor, yeah. I'm sorry, I switched shows. I went from Acolyte. I'm very excited about Acolyte, and Mark was saying he was very excited about Andor, and I was like, yeah, I was not too thrilled about Andor season 1. So maybe I will be more about season 2, and maybe it's one of those development things. Like you look back at season 1 of Rebels, and the characters were kind of like, they were having to develop everybody. You're having to get to know who these people were, where they came from, and take them to the next step. Sarah, I know it's a great show, but I just it wasn't my cup of tea. I just didn't like the story. I mean, does it?
So
I liked everything about it except for the storyline.
Mark and I were talking about this off air a couple days ago, and my favorite thing in Andor is, in my real life, I'm a video producer, so this was like a producer director's decision. I could tell, but there's a whole episode where they're like, "Yeah, we have a space prison." They're like, "Yeah, but force fields and all that stuff are going to be expensive, and we need a solution." And I know it was a production guy who goes, "What about if the floor was lava?" And that's genius. They just made the floor is lava for 2 episodes. It's like, don't touch the floor to kill you. The floor is lava. It's amazing.
Done and done. So smart, and also so cruel, right? Like all you have to do is trip, and it's like, oh, I'm dead now, and they don't care. Everyone's expendable.
No,
Yeah.
you
Here's the good
get a
news.
big whatever the thing for the Death Star.
Yeah, that one little piece. The good news is there's a Star Wars for everyone. I love that everyone in this chat is on the Rebels bandwagon, and we are keeping that torch ablaze. And then Acolyte, I think, is going to be really, really cool. In fact, we're going to do something fun for the network for Acolyte. We've got a few weeks to go. There will be a watch along every Thursday for Acolyte. There will be an after show for the Acolyte featuring the same boys who are doing our current after show. So John and Bryce and Mike, they also all know the High Republic inside and out. So they will have the insights
Which is
on
good
that
because
show.
I know very little about the High Republic.
Yeah, same. I'm a terrible reader. I hate to
Well,
say that. It makes it seem like I'm illiterate, but like I just can't. There's too much, and it overwhelms me.
Okay,
Introduce
who
you
has
to the
time?
word audible.
I can't focus. If like the audiobook, I'll start thinking about something and then I will have missed the multiple sentences that were spoken to me, and then I have to rewind, and then I crash the car.
I do
Like
that when I'm reading a book. I'll go, oh shit, I got to read that paragraph again because I was.
My mind wanders. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this show. How much? All right, if we slice this up, if someone took the minutes, how much should we talk about Rebels versus everything else? That pie chart it looks like a Pictionary thing with the little wedges. Yeah.
We just looked at the quota of how many times we have to mention it, and then we're like, we're good. We can talk about other stuff now.
Yeah, we're one of the cool things about this too is like it's a very, as you can see, the chat is very chill. People love Rebels, but they like talking about all the stuff we talk about. And everyone has interests outside of Star Wars. Sarah will tell you she's a big Doctor Who fan. This weekend was the premiere of Doctor Who, so at some point I have to
Sarah,
message
did you
Sarah.
enjoy it?
We have to like go in and talk about the episodes. I loved the second episode, and I liked the first episode. So I'm curious to see what everyone else.
I haven't watched it yet. I watched Doctor Who in college. I did Eccleston up until Capaldi, and liked Capaldi, and then got busy, and I've stopped. I haven't. I'm 3 Doctors behind now, but I do like it.
I'm taking my daughter-in-law to Dallas as a celebration. She's already had her 30th birthday, but it's her 30th birthday present. I'm taking her to Dallas so she can go see and get a picture and autograph with David Tennant.
Nice.
He is my doctor.
Nice.
Everyone says they've got their one. Mine is Tennant.
Yeah, she likes
one of my favorite.
I'm going to wear a Hu Yang t-shirt. That shirt is going to be worn when I meet a David Tennant.
That's
I like
amazing.
it. I love it. I love that shirt.
He's fantastic in the Ahsoka show too, and of course he's a Clone Wars character. So I mean, I have his autograph as the Doctor, of course, and a photo with him. He's tremendous. I've also met Matt Smith. I need to meet Catherine Tate, and apparently she's going to some convention in Tampa, which I will not be attending, but I will find out where Catherine Tate will also be and find my way to Catherine Tate. She has eluded me multiple times now. Every time I've had a ticket to see her, 3 times now, she has either canceled or the convention has fully collapsed on itself, and the convention collapsed. So I canceled. So I was at like $500 on that one because I had 2 tickets, autograph, photo op. Like that was a fiasco. That was years ago. And then she canceled on Boston last summer, and I like legitimately fell into a depression. I canceled my train tickets. I gave away my tickets to the show. I was like, I'm not going to Boston. I don't want to see anyone. I don't want to go. I fully was like a kid. Like I'm not playing with my toys. Yeah, I like legitimately did. Like I canceled the whole trip. I was so mad. And more so depressed. I'm gonna meet Catherine Tate one day. I'm gonna throw it into the universe, into the Hooniverse, as it were.
We're gonna make that happen.
Yeah, that, and I'm gonna make it out to the VCN vacation. Those are really the 2 goals for the year: hunt down Catherine Tate in a good way, and go to the VCN vacation. So that's on the list. I think, I'm looking at the time. We are over, but I do want to talk very quickly about what's happening on the network this week. So tomorrow, obviously, is Happy Hour. Everyone tune in, and I'm sure everyone will be talking probably Acolyte. That's what's on everyone's mind right now, as well as all the news around Celebration. There's going to be announcements about the family vacation and all the new people attending. So I'm sure that'll be big topics of discussion. Wednesday, we finally have the return of Daughters of the Galaxy with Ashley. She will be on Wednesday with Jamie. They're doing their Mother's Day special. So all of our favorite moms from the galaxy. So that'll be really fun. Thursday
Hera.
is Hera will be prominently featured along with
She's-
Leia
she's-
and Aunt Beru and every other mom like figure, hugs from Hera.
Hugs
Like
for her.
Hera.
Thursday, we've got the VCN Watch Along. They're doing Tales of the Empire, the Barriss Offee episodes. Last week was Morgan Elsbeth, in case anyone hadn't seen that. And then Friday is the after show for Tales of the Empire, Barriss Offee. So you'll get all the insights from the boys. And then Sunday, we've got a new episode of Jedi Archives. They're doing the High Republic #4. And then next week, episode 100 of Star Wars Rebels Revisited, which I can't believe. It's been basically 2 years that the show has been on the air. So episode 100 is going to be a celebration. It's going to be a lot of fun. Everyone, please join, tune in, tell your friends. I'm sorry I'm not going to be here to do it, but Ashley and Skip will hold things down with some very special guests that we'll be announcing very soon. And then did want to mention the new guest for the family vacation. Jeff, do we have cards to put up? I know that we just announced Margot Apostolos, who
There she
is
is.
one of our Ewok friends. So you'll see her at Boon to Eve Special Edition.
Yep.
And then don't forget, we've got 2 events in Southern California, the Galaxy's Most Wanted, as well as the Heroes of the Filoniverse. And then in Northern California, we've got the creators of the galaxy or the universe. And we have one more guest announcement happening on Wednesday. So everyone be sure to tune into that.
It's me. I'll be there.
Yeah. Yes. Scotty will be there. Skip will be there as sponsors. So hopefully they get a T-shirt or something for their sponsorship.
Where's my T-shirt, Jeff? Show me my
Yeah.
T-shirt.
There we go. Of course I know him. He's me.
I'm just happy to do it. So. Bragging rights. I can.
It's all good.
I have to get the other T-shirt for my Mark Hamill photo op, and yeah.
There it is. The ski pruckle. Oh, Harrison. Only Harrison Ford could get away with that shit. Well, anyway, that takes us to the end of our episode tonight. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And like I said, please be sure to join in next week, next Monday, for the 100th episode of Rebels Revisited. Scotty, thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Nice meeting you, Scotty.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this
Thank
was
you
so
for
much
having me.
fun.
I had a blast. Can't wait to come back.
Yes, we'll make sure we have it. And this show will go until, I'm estimating at this point, September. And then we're going to turn on over to Clone Wars, which is going to be super fun. So there's no getting rid of us. And me and Skip and Ashley will be the permanent trio of hosts. And we'll be bringing in people all the time. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll keep you in the Rolodex.
I like it. I like
it. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Have a fantastic week. And may the Force be with you.
And also with you.
Bye, everyone.